All right, folks, good afternoon. Let's go ahead and get airborne with our primary live trade brief. Welcome aboard Top Gun Options, folks. Yesterday, we knocked out our weekly options live trade brief. It's a quick 30-minute session. For those of you that are new, it's every Monday from 1 until about obviously 1:30 if it's, let me do some political science math there. We looked at an Amazon weekly bull put spread that was risking about $5,000 to potentially make $2,000. I tried to chase that one all day, never got filled. But we'll talk about that in a couple minutes, a quick debrief of the weekly options trade yesterday. For those of you that are joining us new today, we're going to go fast and furious. We're going to knock out what we call a normal PLTB. It's going to be a normal primary live trade brief today. I'm going to give you a strategic and operational brief at what's going on around the globe and here domestically in the United States. And then we're going to get tactical and take a look at some trades. We're going to take a look at a great looking Raytheon Iron Condor that's up about $3,300 that expires on Friday. We're going to take a look at a potential boiled frog there with ExxonMobil. And we're going to take a look, obviously, at Amazon. But more importantly, today we're going to take a look at volatility. The market is just like we covered yesterday, and I'll say it again today. Market up, VIX up, something is up. So we're going to have to cover volatility trade, a short-term volatility trade, because things are just looking too cheap right now as far as volatility. You bet, Guy. Everything is recorded. Yesterday's session was recorded, the weekly options. I'll share that link with you in a couple minutes in case you want to watch yesterday's weekly options brief. We invited some of our new strategic partners yesterday, and then some of you guys are joining us today. So I'll share with you the brief from yesterday so you can take a look at what we did. Tomorrow at Top Gun Options, we do what's called AR, Accelerated Retirement. A little bit more of a conservative portfolio. We usually take positions on longer term. They're called leaps. We can go out, a year and a half to 2 years and get bullish, or if you want to, bearish on potential positions. And then Thursday, every week here at Top Gun Options, we do what's analyze your trade, and we also do kind of an overall portfolio debrief of the other three portfolios. So really, really good stuff going on here at Top Gun Options. In the past 2.5 to 3 weeks, we've seen nearly $20,000 in notional profits just on trading volatility with VIX and VXX. And right now, we're at absolute record highs, and we're really starting to feel hypoxic up here. We're starting to run out of oxygen. So we're going to take a look at a little bit of a hedge here. Okay, so welcome aboard to all the folks that are kind of joining us. Like I said, I'll share the weekly options brief with you from yesterday in a couple minutes. So when you get a second, if you're watching this recording or you're joining me live, you can kind of go ahead and save that link and see the Amazon bull put spread that we put on yesterday. Amazon's kind of a little flattish today. It's feeling a little bit of heat from the Trump attack of the limousine liberal fangs, which we're going to talk about in a couple minutes. Real quick, though, folks, quick introduction. My name is Matthew Buckley. My call sign's Wiz. Flew the Hornet for the United States Navy for about 15, 16 years. Graduated from the Navy Fighter Weapons School, known as Top Gun, and also was a bad guy out there at Naval Air Station Fallon. So if you've ever seen the movie Top Gun, I was one of the bad dudes. The instructors got to do some cool stuff, flew over, I guess they're our friends, but you could say a bad guy jet over Pakistan, got to fly with the Blue Angels, with my best friend there, got to be a landing signal officer. So that's me on the right with that squared away haircut, helping my fellow aviators land back aboard the ship. And I also did 44 combat sorties over southern Iraq. Was always interested in finance, but you don't join the Navy to be rich or to be Gordon Gekko. But while I was on active duty, I taught myself how to trade equity options and applied everything that you're going to get a little sample of today. Having a strategy, implementing tactics, managing risk, contingency planning, knowing when to get out of a good or bad situation before it got worse. And I applied it to my trading, and it worked extremely well with my trading. And eventually I popped up on the radar of one of the largest volatility arbitrage, which is a big word for what? Just an equity options trading firm in the Chicago Board of Trade called Peak 6 Investments. Helped build a hedge fund, helped build the retail brokerage called Options House, and kind of felt like Eddie Murphy, Valentine, over there in Trading Places. That was actually on the other day. Was it Sunday or rainy Saturday or Sunday down here in South Florida? I love watching that movie because I actually lived it. Ran a strategy at VXX Investments, but more importantly, I was the founder and CEO of the Options News Network, ONN TV, kind of the CNBC for options. I know John and Pete at Nigerian do kind of a good job. I know them from Chicago with paying lip service to options, but at ONN, we had a great time, and it was all options all day, all night. So, and then moved the squadron down here to South Florida. I need to update this picture because this young man is a freshman in college at Norwich University in Vermont, and he's in the Corps of Cadets where he's wants to be. I guess I dropped him on his head when he was a kid because he wants to be a Marine fighter pilot, unlike his father there who flew for naval aviation. So, okay. So that's the quick intro. I have to get this out of the way, folks, first because this is just. I'm so furious at this that I'm actually calm. Which tells you something. If you're not a member, you'll hear about my legendary rants here. But if this doesn't make your blood boil, this is ridiculous. Former FBI official said that the Bureau would leak stories, made up stories like the Steele dossier, to their liberal buddies in the press. Then the FBI agents would take those stories to FISA judges and get warrants. Folks, I'm speechless. It's disgusting. And this guy right now, I can't believe he's still even got a job. Bruce Orr, an FBI official who's married to the lady who works at Rare Fusion GPS, which gave the dossier. It is a circle of disgustingness and swamp. This man needs to be fired. He needs to be investigated. People need to be arrested. What if this was you? What if this was the FBI making up evidence on you to get a warrant? I am telling you, folks, this is getting dangerously close to something very bad in this country. I hate saying the R word, but who was it, Jefferson, Payne? One of the dudes said, hey, man, a little revolution every once in a while ain't that bad. This is horrific. And the fact that our Attorney General, Jeffrey Sessions, has not investigated any wrongdoing on one side of the aisle is absolutely insane. I'm going to leave it at this because I don't want to scare people away or eat up too much of a rant. Folks, I have a buddy who works, a very high-ranking buddy who works somewhere up north in a big building, and he says, hey, Wiz, I said, come on, dude, what the hell's going on up there? He's like, Trump knows all of this, and he's trying to let people do their jobs. Before he's going to go, who is it, Al Pacino, you're out of order, this court's out of order, the whole damn. Jeff Sessions it's seen it all. And my buddy's telling me, let's just say that it is so bad that the dude fears for our republic. That if we did start, because this all started with poking around Trump. Obviously, there's been no collusion. The only collusion going on right now is with limousine liberal tech companies getting involved in an election. There ain't no Russian collusion. You got a dude on tax evasion from 17 years ago and a dirty lawyer who tapes his client. He told me that, Wiz, if they open the door to the other side of the aisle, this nation will implode. And I'm going to leave it at that. That should also give you a little bit of an idea why Uncle Wiz is going to talk about hedging today, man. We are at record highs. Look at this, man. Look at these. At least these other, we called these the golden arches, right? There's your McDonald's rally. Each time we've kind of tested the 50-day moving average on the S&P 500. The past couple times we've done what? Nope. Folks, we have not seen any significant, I don't want to say pullback, but just kind of taking a break here. This time last year, folks, the S&P 500 was up 8%. Where are we right now? About 8%. What happened in the fall? Last fall was when we saw this rip your face off rally. So there's a lot of potential good out there, but there's a lot, a lot of bad. So let me give you a strategic and operational brief, and then we're going to get tactical, because one of the wisisms you're going to learn here at Top Gun Options, and let me do a normal brief and pretend that our visitors aren't here. And then at the end, if you guys hang out, I'll let you know how you can take just a 2-week test flight into what we do here at Top Gun Options. Because I don't do 90 marketing PowerPoint slides like a lot of people out there. I just open up the doors, man, and say, hey, well, why don't you come take a look at what we do here? Well, let me give you the link right now, as a matter of fact. So if you're interested at the end of this, or you got to leave or anything like that, we're going to go about an hour and a half today. That's usually what our live trade briefs run, except the weekly options one yesterday. So save this link if you're like, you know what, this is pretty cool. I'd like to do a 2-week test flight. There it is right there. But the market only cares when it cares. Just because the market or CNBC or MSNBC ain't, stopping their frothing at the mouth to cover some of these issues doesn't mean they're not going on. That's one of the benefits you get here at Top Gun Options. I get a daily intelligence briefing from a source on military events around the world and geopolitical events. And you need to know that this stuff is going on, because the market will care when it cares. So let's go. NATO has confirmed a massive Russian naval buildup off Syria and is calling for restraint. Okay, Vladimir Putin, just like Barack Hussein Obama, right? Putin invades Crimea. Stop, or we'll say stop again. Putin invades eastern Ukraine. Stop, or we'll say stop again. Ukraine asks for help. We'll send you some blankets and some meals ready to eat. Okay, dude, thanks. Putin shoots down a civilian airliner, blowing children, men, and women into vaporized pieces in the air. Stop, or we'll see. Yeah, so I'm sure NATO calling for Russian restraint is awesome. Our national security advisor, John Bolton, I met him in the Admirals Club one time down here in Miami. I had a good talk with him when he was a Fox dude, not obviously the national security advisor. Has said that it looks like the Syrians are gearing up for another chemical strike. So again, okay, Wiz, what's this have to do with your Amazon bull put spread? Everything. If you wake up tomorrow and there's 56 Tomahawks flying into Syria that Trump ordered overnight, you need to brief these things, folks, so you're hedged or you know what's going on. Look at this. Yesterday, Reuters headline yesterday said what? Iranian general says, we have full control of the Gulf. The U.S. Navy does not belong here, and we are in full control of the Strait of Hormuz. Tangziri said Iran had full control of both the Gulf itself and the Strait of Hormuz. Closing off that strait would be the most direct way of blocking shipping. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been to Fifth Fleet headquarters. I was stationed in Saudi Arabia for a couple months. I did mobile targeting. I was the mobile targeting officer for the JTF SWA, Joint Task Force Southwest Asia. We have said, and this has been years, and that this closing the Strait of Hormuz would be an act of war. It's tiny, folks. I've sailed through that 4 times, twice at night on the Abraham Lincoln. We did it at night and during the day on the Kitty Hawk. It's international waters, folks. Obviously, the Iran says they own it. 1/3 of the world's oil supplies pass through the strait. So we have told Iran in the past, and we said it again more or less yesterday, if you close or attempt to close or put some mines or anything like that across the strait, it's an act of war. Volatility, folks. Oil, folks. So this is why this impacts trading. Again, if you're just sitting here, confused at why the president lowered the flag again for John McCain or what's going on with Tesla, you're going to get wiped out one day, because these are stories that I brief my TGO members. And surprisingly, Wednesday morning when something bad happens, we go, yeah, we knew about that and we were hedged. How about yesterday, man? What a coup. I'm not even going to get into the John McCain stuff. You all know U.S. flag code, right? U.S. flag code was done properly. For a U.S. senator, it is from the day the dude dies until the next day, or lady. He did it right. The only way you lower it for longer than that is how? By presidential proclamation. So again, the same people who in 2008 called John McCain a racist, a homophobe, and a Nazi are the ones who obviously calling him a national hero just because he stuck it to Trump. That's the only reason. If this many people on the left love John McCain, why didn't he win the presidency? The point being, folks, is that yesterday, this was the story that I cared about. And this is the story why the market was up 270 points or triple digit or almost 301 points. I said right back here, 2.5 weeks ago, I said when, not if, we get a trade deal done with China, we will see a rip your face off rally that makes 2017 look like a bear market. So what happened yesterday? The president was playing 3D checkers while everybody else is kind of playing chess here. He did, or tried to get a deal done. He ripped apart NAFTA, boxed out Canada, and made a deal with Mexico. Did you listen? Here's what's funny is the president, here's how open this guy is. He was going to have a press conference about it, and he said, no, you know what? Bring all the reporters into the Oval Office. I don't want any filter. I don't want any fake news like, oh, he shoved this down the president of Mexico's throat. It's a bad deal. He said, you know what? Everybody come in here. I'm going to do a conference call with the dude. Did anybody watch the beginning of it? It was like uncomfortable because they're trying to connect. And that was a last minute addition because the president wants to go directly to us. This trade deal is a great deal. This was a crowning achievement. Does everybody know the village idiot from the New York Times called Paul Krugman, right? Their economic reporter. The economy, everything, you tear up NAFTA, it's going to implode. Canada, that dude with the falling eyebrow was left standing yesterday looking like an idiot. Now, today, Canada's calling like, hey, man, can we all, they're going Rodney King. Can we get along here? So, good economic headlines yesterday. Phenomenal. But again, watching the frothing at the mouth liberal media, first of all, you're not going to hear anything about how the FBI is using faked news stories that they feed to go lie to judges to get warrants to investigate a political party and a presidential candidate. Are you shitting me that this is going on in this country? Well, the answer is yes, Wiz. So anyway, but this is great bullish news. What else is going on, Wiz? Other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play? NASDAQ crosses 8,000 for the first time yesterday. Holy crap. Stocks rise as U.S.-Mexico near trade deal. How about this headline? I had to read this twice, folks. Ready for this? Look at this. Tim, I'm not even going to bring that up. Well, you wrote it. I'm going to say it. It is confirmed that China actually has all of Hillary Clinton's emails. China hacked her private email server. Tim, as a naval officer, if I decided to have my own email server and sent and received classified information, the Naval Investigative Service would have arrested me. I would have been court-martialed, and I would have done prison time. This woman gets a book tour. I have no idea why this woman is not in jail. And Huma Abedin, who was married to a pervert. And oh, by the way, the FBI lied to the American people. You know how many emails on Anthony Weiner's laptop they went through? 1%. What was it, like $3,000 out of 60? You can't even make this shit up, guys. So when Hillary says, "Oh, I deleted those 33,000 emails that were about yoga and wedding plans," the Chinese have them, and locked them up in the cells with MS-13, and you get the gold star for the day. But look at this. U.S. consumer confidence rises to what? I dropped off Edward Matthew Buckley Jr. at Norwich University last Sunday. He's 18. Our consumer confidence has not been this high since my son was born, and he's in college. Can you believe this? Holy shnikes. Look at that headline. I mean, let's look at the actual number here. Where's our Case Shiller came in a little bit better. Wholesale inventories, a little bit of a drop. The trade balance, Trump's seen a lot of good trade numbers recently. This one wasn't a good one. But look at the Conference Board's consumer confidence. I've never seen a number that high in my entire career. In my career, folks. But let's take a look at a little bit of let's get operational here. Look at this headline. Has everybody read this today and knows what's going on? The president hit these limousine liberal tech stocks with both barrels today. If you are more concerned about my give a shit meter about Russia interfering in our election is at 0.01%. Oh my God, folks, we interfere in people's elections. We've gone to war over people's elections. How dare you sit here and think that Russian buying Facebook ads for $200,000 is more of a bigger deal than these people? And look at the head of the Drudge Report today, man. This guy did an investigation. Where is it? The Drudge link that started it all. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, this guy, 96% of the Google search results for Trump news are from what? Liberal media outlets. This guy, you have to read this entire article, folks. Not one article in the first 100 search results, there was not any, you would, even Fox News, which you consider neutral, or I would, not one search result in like the first 100 had anything positive or, so 18-year high in consumer confidence, jobs at record low, North Korea at the bargaining table. So does anybody believe Google's response? So here, let's do our first poll of the day. So Google responded and said, we do not skew search results. You ready? Let's take a look here. I want to listen to you guys. So let me know what you think. Yeah, I actually have a democracy, unlike Google. Let's see what you guys actually think. Okay. About 10 more seconds to vote. And okay, almost half of you. Well, you know what's funny, Arthur? And Larry, I was going to put a duh or a are you stupid as one of the choices. I mean, so all right. So about 63% of you have voted, and I'm going to be honest with you that I'm stunned. You ready for this? Let me share this. I cannot believe that there is 10% of the people in this room, 20 of you, who thinks that they don't. That is shocking to me. And that, you know who I think that actually is Google in here. or their trolls. No offense, ladies and gentlemen. It's proven that they do. Mark Zuckerberg sat in front of Congress and said what? We're hiring 10,000 people to monitor hate speech. And the senator said, where are you hiring them from? Well, Bill, didn't know we had that many liberals in here. Bill, remember that today I invited one of my strategic partners to mail for this webinar, so we have some visitors in here. Not to be rude, folks, I'm speechless. It is proven, WikiLeaks, for God's sakes, has internal emails from Google saying they skew search results. Facebook has admitted to pushing, guys, if you're one of the 20, man, you're probably not going to, Karen, I've got a former air marshal whistleblower who just got sentenced. Guys, this is insane, and it is illegal. So Russian and colluding our election is not illegal. If you pay them to do it, it is. These limousine liberal tech companies, from Twitter to Google, Apple, it is illegal. Why, folks? This is an in-kind campaign contribution to liberals and Democrats. Censoring that Google, YouTube have taken down on YouTube. I don't care what you think of Alex Jones. I think he's a right-wing fringe lunatic. He's nuts. He deserves to be heard. It is illegal because they are pushing all the Democrat and liberal stuff. It's a campaign contribution. So if you're sitting here furious that Trump, before he was president, gave 130 grand out of his own wallet for hush money, which is completely illegal, if you're more concerned about that than silencing somebody else's speech because of their political view, do me a favor and excuse yourself from this webinar. Why am I going on this rant? Do not ever again in your life invest in anything in any company that's got an activist limousine liberal CEO, Starbucks, Twitter, Google, and wants to alienate half of their consumer base. You're telling me you want to be in that? Where is this rant leading? If you're new, you're going to find out that the only tech stock, which I don't think is a tech stock, but people call it that, so I'll call it that, is what? Amazon. Jeff Bezos has been as quiet as a church mouse. He hasn't said the word boo. Trump blasted him a couple months ago, putting the post office out of business. He's a monopoly at the Washington Post. Booga, booga, booga. And then Trump went on his way. He is not going to let this go. He's going to put this on the campaign trail, folks, every day in November or the coming months. Do not invest in these people, guys. Can you? Yeah, Arthur. No, this is Twitter. Jack Dorsey has been called to testify, and I want to see him say under oath that they don't shadow ban. Ladies and gentlemen, I have been shadow banned. I've proven it. I lost 400 users overnight the other day, and I doubt it's because I tweeted pictures of my son at Norwich and me dropping him off. They are censoring speech. Now, for those of you who know me, I'm a libertarian, folks. It makes me furious when the government gets involved in any sort of business, whether you're a baker in Colorado or one of these companies. What does get my goat up is when they do it to do what? Impact the election. So they're sitting here. Bob Mueller is his investigation's ridiculous. Jeff Sessions, like I shared earlier, it's so bad. Folks, it can't get any worse than an FBI agents having dinner at, in a Washington restaurant, feeding a completely fake news story to their buddy in the liberal press. Then when that story gets published the next day, going to a FISA judge and go, see, look at this, Your Honor. Now I need a warrant to go do this stuff. It's worse than that, folks. So I'm sitting here saying there's a lot of bullish stuff going on, but ladies and gentlemen, there is a lot of bad out there. Donald J. Trump has said what? I'm going to shut down this government on October 1st if you don't give me money for your wall, for the wall. We have the Kavanaugh confirmation hearings, which, of course, Democrat 10-year-old senators have said, I'm not even going to meet the guy because we have, the president is an unindicted co-conspirator in some, the scuzzy New York election. Do you know, did anybody see the interview with a recent federal prosecutor? He's like, you do not name unindicted co-conspirators. You know why? Because they can't defend themselves. What's the famous guy after Watergate who was found innocent? His question, he said, does anybody know what office I go to down here to get my reputation back? Naming an unindicted co-conspirator is un-American. It's disgusting. So folks, I'm going to tell you what my strategic mindset is. Let me ask you yours. So here's our next poll. What is your current strategic mindset? And you're going to learn when you take a test flight here at Top Gun Options. You can only have one of four strategic mindsets. You can think the market's going to go up. You can think the market's going to go down. You can think we're going to chop sideways and just craziness, or you just think you're market neutral. So why don't you knock out a vote on that one, because I want to see how you all are feeling. We are 2 minutes away from getting tactical and looking at trades. But as you guys are voting, I want you to recognize that this is how you have to brief on a daily basis. With your political, everything is politics, folks. A government shutdown, elections, the budget, the Fed easing, mining the Straits of Hormuz, a chemical attack in Syria. There is not one thing that happens in this market that is not political. I just said that the president is going to go after what's his name? Jeffrey Gunlock, my spirit animal, who also predicted the election of Trump and the resulting market rally after I did, who also predicted the implosion of Facebook and the FANGs months after I did. He said, hey, man, when the government comes in with their regulation boots, they usually over-regulate. So if we are going to see this, some regulation out of the government, it's going to be horrible for these tech companies. Legal fees and reporting fees. And don't give me the cheerleaders on CNBC bullshit of, well, that means it's just a higher barrier for entry for competitors, so it's bullish. Having the government come in and regulate your ass is not bullish. It costs money. Okay, so let me close this one, and let's see what you all have to say. Share. There we go. All right, so 54 are volatile, 24 are bullish, only 8 are bearish, and 13 are neutral. Here's what's cool is the immediate answer is what? Yes, you're all right. But we're going to talk, let me hide this and go, we're going to get tactical here. Take a look at where we are, folks. Like I said, here's your McDonald's rally. Here's your golden arches, touching the 50-day moving average on the S&P. It looked like we were going to maybe do that again, but we never did here or here. So I'm telling you, folks, the market ain't going to do this. This cannot be sustained. Every one of these recently, every one of these kind of rip your face off rallies up here, this ended up being volatile. Touch. This was bearish. This one was a little neutral. So when I said you can have, I think you're all right. You are a little bearish. We are running out of airspeed up here. I call it hypoxic, right? You climb the top of Mount Everest, there's no oxygen. We're running out of oxygen here. We're getting to the end of, we're almost into September here. The kids are back at school. September and October, folks, are some of the most volatile months anyway. And I just hinted what we have coming up here. We got a Supreme Court justice hearing, which is going to be an absolute shit show. We have elections. Today I voted. I went down to the street here in Boca Raton. I voted. And we have a potential government shutdown. There is a lot of, we have Iranian sanctions. The president told Mike Pompeo, dude, don't go to North Korea. Apparently the Secretary of State got some rude letter from some North Korean heavy, and the president said, all right, screw it, we're not going. So there's a lot of stuff out there, guys. And I talk about this white space over here. I just laid out a bunch of reasons why that could happen. But I also just laid out a bunch of reasons why that could happen, right? 18-year consumer confidence. Unemployment is at record lows. We have great earnings. We have what? Stock buybacks. Apple, forget what I feel politically about Apple. Look at the stock price can only go up when the dudes, when they're buying back their own shares, man. It artificially inflates their EPS, right? Earnings per share. So when I, in this white space, draw one of these and one of these, what's it time to do? And if you're new, I'm going to teach you a word right now called a Tredge. The hell's that word mean? Well, folks, guess what? When we place trades, we're going to look at a Raytheon trade we have on, an ExxonMobil trade. We have some really great looking trades on right now. But guess what? Let me break the word in half. A trade, I want to make money. Okay, duh. I paid what for this? You paid nothing. But in a trade, I want to make money with. In a hedge, I actually want to lose money. Woo. All right, I'm in a free webinar with a dude that doesn't mind losing money. Yeah, because I don't call a hedge losing money. If you sit at your kitchen table every month and go, son of a bitch, I am losing money to State Farm with this auto, home, and life insurance, you're an idiot. And I mean that in the meanest sense of the word. You truly are. I don't even remember I pay insurance. It's on auto pay through USAA. But I'll tell you what, when I get it rear-ended by a blue hair down here in God's waiting room, I'm damn sure I have my insurance on. And if my hedge is losing money, one day there's a lot of green. Yesterday was a perfect example. A lot of green on my screens and a blinding red. The red was my hedge. But when, not if, these things happen, you're a happy mofo. So a trade, we want to make money. A hedge, we don't necessarily. And what's cool about a hedge is if it makes money, whiz, that sucks because all my other ones are red. Well, guess what? If they're good positions, they're going to come back. So I close my hedge and I take that coin and I do what? And I put it back into the good. Right? A Raytheon, an Amazon, an ExxonMobil, a CSX, our transportation stock. You take the winnings, I hate that word, you take the profits from a hedge and you do what? You roll it back into some of your goods. None of these have lasted forever, guys. Even this insanity back here, what? Buying opportunities. Every dip has been a buy. Now, I get it, man. We'll talk about the one time eventually when that ain't going to work, but we're options traders, folks. We can change our strategic mindset in the blink of an eye, right? We're going to, in a couple minutes, we're going to talk about FXI as well, the bear or the China ETF. So obviously yesterday, yay, he got a deal done with Mexico. Well, what's that mean for us, right? I told you yesterday, if you're in the FXI bear call spread, I brought up my picture of who? William Wallace. This is a William Wallace moment if you're bearish. Last week, the Deputy Undersecretary for Coffee Making met with the Deputy Undersecretary of Coffee Making from China and said what? Guys, we can't even agree that water is wet. That ain't bullish. So, and look at the short-term tactical trend of the FXI. PBOC, the People's Bank of China. Uh-oh, we need to get involved to save capitalism. Yay! Then what's the market do? Uh-oh, if the government's getting involved, that means it's worse than it is. Boo. More PBOC involvement. That's really bad then. Here was what? We're going to meet at the end of August to have some trade talks. And we met last week, and we can't even agree that the table was round. Boo. Wait, trade deal with Mexico. What the hell does that have to deal with China? So, folks, if you're in I know it's a different portfolio, but and we'll talk about it on Thursday. If you're in this FXI trade, I said yesterday, I said, give me one more day. And I was right. We're down 0.5% and going down even a little bit more. This will go down. And barring Donald Trump Friday saying, just got off the phone with President Z. Nobody does phone calls better than me. Huge. I'm a huge phone call guy. Deal with China. Then this thing will be up, 10%, and that trade will get blown out. That's a risk. So, Leonard, that's a good point. That they've been hammering and devaluing the yuan against the dollar. So, yeah, they are a currency manipulator. Always remember, folks, that Donald J. Trump in his back pocket, and I give this, I ain't no blowhard Trump supporter, folks. He campaigned on doing what? Day one in office. I'm going to label China a currency manipulator. Day one, period. You see this pen? I'm doing it. Day one in office, he didn't do it. I get it. You can call him a liar. I call him a negotiator. He got the votes, and then China knows that is a break glass case of emergency. China knows that Donald J. Trump is eventually going to win this trade war. He's got a lot of economic airspeed domestically behind him, and he can always wake up and go, you know what? China's a currency manipulator, and done. So, all right, now let's get tactical, guys. I went about 7 minutes over there. Let's talk about the weekly options trade real quick from yesterday. I didn't get filled. I saw a 63 print maybe when I was sitting here, and it looks like earlier when I asked, about half of you got filled and half of you didn't. This is yesterday. Oh, yeah, somebody just asked, one of the visitors here. Let me give you the link. So here's kind of what the member site looks like. It's got a screenshot of the trades. It's got the and the replay down here at the bottom. So here's yesterday's. Here, let me give you the brief. So if you're new, do me a favor and save this link and watch this later. Let me paste this in here. Send to all. Let me put it in the chat box. So if you're new, you didn't get a chance to attend the brief yesterday, here is the session from yesterday. So here's our Amazon bull put spread. We looked at the 1900, 1897.5 bull put spread. We were looking for 65 cents. I said maybe 5 cent wide on that one. So I'd go as low as 60 or as high as 70. And I just never, Steve got it. Amy got it. Tim closed it today already. Nice job, man. Very well done. So some of you did, some of you didn't. I'm not going to look at Amazon right now as a weekly trade. We're actually going to look at volatility instead. So if you're not a member yet, you're going to watch what happens in a live trade brief when we get tactical here in a couple minutes. So yesterday in the live trade brief, I sent out a text alert as we were sitting here live. I took a screenshot of the trade, as you can see in here, and I followed up, after I get done the webinar with an email with the screenshot of the trade and the replay. So here's the replay from yesterday down at the bottom. So this is what the member page looks like. Okay. So take a look at this bull put spread real quick, because this is how we trade here at Top Gun Options. Our max potential loss yesterday was about $5,600. That's a little north of what I'm going to teach you, what we have called SOPs here at Top Gun Options, Standard Operating Procedures. Meaning, based on a notional $100,000 portfolio, I don't want to risk more than 5% on any one trade. That's me, man. This is my SOP. I know people are trading with 10 grand. I know people are trading with $1 billion. That's none of my business. I can't give you investment advice. This is what I would potentially do based on just an average going down the fairway $100,000 portfolio. That was also based on what? So that $5,500 in risk right there was based on 30 contracts. You only want to risk $2,500? Well, let's do the rocket surgery here. Maybe you do 15 contracts. You're a billionaire and you want to risk 10 grand. You do, I don't know, 60. Can't tell you. But you're going to learn that we have an SOP, standard operating procedure. Okay. So, David up 50% already in his. Sweet. Yeah. And so David went up instead of chasing, he went up $2. Let me pull up Amazon here. I don't want to chase Amazon here. Why? Because the market, I told you yesterday, and I'll repeat it, any of these Mondays where we've seen a rip your face off rally, as the week has gone on, it's what? It's faded. Tiesto or Calvin Harris, whatever, faded. So I think as the rest of the week goes on, it's going to fade. So if I was in that one, and it looks like some of you who got in, you might be up 30, 40% right now, I'd probably close that. For the rest of the week, I'm cautiously bearish, man. Like I said, this is why I rant up about the politics. Bruce Orr, and I don't know why this dirty FBI agent, first of all, still has a job. Second of all, is testifying behind a closed-door session. Didn't somebody once famously say that democracy dies in the dark? Why are these people getting to do testimony behind closed doors? It's going to be leaked anyway, since nobody in Washington except military folks knows how to keep a secret. We actually believe the oath that we took. But anyway, there's a lot. It's only Tuesday, guys. Friday is a world away. So that's why we're going to talk about volatility here, folks, is something's going to happen between now and Friday, or now and next Friday, that's going to freak this market out. That's going to give us a pause here. I feel it. I jokingly call myself Old Red, sitting on the porch in Oklahoma, right? On my rocket chair when my knees start hurting. A twister's coming. There's a twister coming, folks. We have been bullish and bearish on volatility for the past 2.5, 3 weeks to the tune of about 20 grand. With either long VIX calls or bullish double verticals, or even just bull put spread on VXX. But before we get into the new trade, let's take a look at some of our existing one. We have a beautiful Raytheon iron condor going down the fairway here. Let me cover Raytheon first, and we'll cover ExxonMobil, because I think, JP, that's what I'm going to do. I'm looking to VXX out the next Friday, my friend. So Raytheon, let me get a hell yeah if you're in this iron condor here. So we have an iron condor on Raytheon. What's an iron condor? It's a range-bound trade. So if you're new to options, and I'm throwing out these terms, don't sweat it, man, because when you become a member, underneath member content here, you go to full throttle. Okay, man, this guy was throwing out iron condors, spreads, and synthetic. It's all right here, man. There's an iron condor lecture that is what? An hour and a half long. Over a glass of wine on a Tuesday night, I did an hour and a half to 2 hour session on iron condors. So an iron condor is a range-bound trade. Raytheon is our defense sector pick. When you take a 2-week trial at the end of my babbling today, you're going to get access to our 7 sectors that we are bullish on out to, or not necessarily that we're bullish on, that we trade. Why? Because like the 7th sector is either Brazil or China. And I got to save a little time for China here, because if you're not in a bearish spread, I'd look at one now. But look at Raytheon. Yes, sir. Nice. All right, Matthew, Chuck. Hell yes. Tim closed it today. Got a hell yeah out of Eli. Harry with a capital hell yeah. So here, an iron condor means, hey, I call it a football trade. See these 2 horizontal lines here? Raytheon can run around this football field as long as it doesn't step out of bounds. Let's take a look at the current trade, or trades, because we legged into an iron condor. All right, Wiz, I don't even know what an iron condor meant. Now you're talking about legging. It's a pretty simple concept, folks. With this, when was this? This was the 7 August brief. We put on what is called a bear call spread. The 202.5, 205 bear call spread. What was that? That was this side of the football field. The week before that, we put on what? A bull put spread, the 195, 192.5. What was that? A bull put spread is down here. This is the southern half of the field, right? So that trade, let me just build it right here and show you what it looks like. Remember, folks, with options, any options trade has an expiration. So this trade on Raytheon expires on Friday. And now I'll just show you what the current trade is. It's the 195, 192.5 bull put spread. Okay. And let me build the other spread. These were calls. And it's the 202.5, 205 bear call spread. Okay. There was 30 contracts in this trade. Let me get it up to 30. And the bear call spread and the bull put spread, the total trade we got for $1.45 credit. Right now, it is at 31 cents. Everybody see this right here? $1.45 minus 31 cents equals what? $1.14 in profit. How many contracts? 30. Whoops. 30. So $1.14 times 30 equals $3,420. Isn't that freaking awesome? So, because we're going to send out a text alert. I'm getting out of this one, guys. 34.20. You got it, Kevin. And Kevin beat me to it. Not only did we have this iron condor on, folks, what did we have as well? We sold some short upside calls, right? And it was the 205s. Let me close our trade here. So hold on. Let's find out what those where were our short calls here? So we got the iron condor, short calls, Raytheon, vol review. It was right here. Yeah, you're welcome, guys. So there's the 202, 2.5. So look, folks, here, and let me figure out the percentage gain. So this was the total risk in the iron condor. Look at this. This is the iron. You remember I called it a football trade? We were risking $3,600 to potentially make $3,900. We're up $3,400, folks. Pigs get slaughtered, right? We're up $34.20 in this trade. With my luck, Friday, 5 minutes before the closing bell, the Raytheon CFO gets, on a plane to the Caymans with the company's cash, and the stock goes to zero. Don't turn what is this? Let's do the math. Again, I'm a political science major, and my son's taking right after me. So we got what? 34.20. 34. I used to do this mentally. 34.20. What was the potential max profit? It was 39.30. 39.30. So we are looking at an 87% profit on the credit we took in. Ginny, Raytheon, my first trade. Can we put on another month out? Ginny, I'm going to get to that. Yeah, we got a lot of good stuff to finish covering here. Raytheon is the gift that keeps on giving. So folks, if you're new, let me just show you what we do. I'm going to go to members who aren't, because 80% of our TGO members work. They work for a living. So they're going to be sitting here in death by meeting, and they're going to be mentally clubbing in the Bahamas, and their cell phone's going to ring or buzz. Raytheon update. Close the 190. Let me do it in the right order. 192.5, 195, 202.5, 205. Iron condor at a 31 cent debit for a 34.20 / 87% profit. What was that, 3 weeks? That was 3 weeks ago. And you know what? Let me kill two birds with one stone, like Kevin said. These short calls. What do we get? What were the short calls there, Kevin? Do you have them in front of you? Because that's here they are. So we look to sell the 205 calls for what? $1.21. What are they right now? The 205s. I'm sorry. The expiration was, because we couldn't do the same one. Or no, that's right. I said if you wanted to do different ones. CP. Wiz, can you have a session on how you club in the Bahamas? CP, that would be for adults only, man. I don't know if you and I are old enough to get in there. Look at that. It's so 121. We wanted to sell 10 of these 205s for $1.21. $1.21 minus 6 is $1.15. You ready for this? $1.15 times 10 contracts equals what? $11.50. So look at what's that? 1150. Let me do the math, folks. 1150. That's a 0.75. 45.70. $4,600, folks. $4,600 in profit on Raytheon trades with limited risk. This ain't no Bitcoin. I ain't no snake oil salesman. Men lie, numbers don't. It's on your screen. So great short calls right here, guys. We've had a, what's that, 45.70. So, folks, limited risk. We made $4,570. And you're welcome, guys. Joined 2 weeks ago. Nice. It's all right. So you got half of this. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you right now, this is a 1.5-year membership into Top Gun Options with 2 Raytheon trades. You've more or less, actually 2 + 2 is 4. If you did a $19.95 annual, you just paid for 2 years of your membership. So let me close these shorts call as well. Close the 205. Oh, let me put the expiration. This was the August 31, and close the 205 short calls if you're in them for that's what, 1150. 1150 profit. And well, what was the potential max gain in those short calls? Let me make sure I get all this stuff right. Where'd they go? Oh, right here. The max profit in those short calls, 121. Yeah, 1210. Duh. 1150, 1210. 1150, 1210. That's got to be what? 95. Yeah, 95%. 95% profit. Now, if you're just joining us as a guest in this webinar, you're not going to get this text alert. Once you become a member, you start obviously getting these alerts. Okay, let me grab my glasses, make sure this says it right. Okay. Yeah, well, and guys, again, this ain't, well, I'm not going to say it's not skill, but it isn't actually, this is just experience, guys, and this is what you're going to learn here. All right, so let me blast that out to our members here. Let me send this to some of the folks that are, God bless you, lucky enough to be retired, that threw away their cell phones. So primary live trade brief update on what? Raytheon. All right, let me paste that in there for folks who just get emails and send that to them. I do, man. Harry, I love iron condors, but remember, and Harry, I know you've been here for a while, so you can chant this with me. Iron condors are great when? Woo, woo, until they're not. So, but the not part is that's when we know we have our adjust and eject, and hey man, maybe I should get out of this thing or move that spread around. So any other questions on Raytheon? I want to come back to this with some short calls, maybe a new iron condor. Thursday is kind of our catch-all session, guys. It's analyze your trade and debrief. Anything I don't have time to do during the week, I usually put that on my flight schedule for Thursday. So if we don't get a Raytheon on here, we're going to be good. But Kevin, just kind of directing this fire at you, I'd still look at the 205s, man. I mean, right here, 202.5 has been resistance. We hit look at this, literally about what was the max yesterday? About 202. I still like the 205s out a couple weeks, guys. So, Tim, it's exactly right, and that's kind of, ExxonMobil is a little boiled froggish, right? Because look at this. Here's ExxonMobil. We had some great iron condors, did the Lord's work. Once it imploded, we said, all right, that's it. Let's kind of sit on our hands. We put on a bull put spread. I threw some short calls on, and I said, hey, we might be getting into a new range down here. Here's the famous Wizism. You ready for this? Give me one more day. What? So if you're a TGO member, let me know why Wiz just said, give me one more day for ExxonMobil. How many? And exactly right, Steve. 90% of the time, Wiz says one more day is right. There you go, Tim. Like Karen, not necessarily straight up from moves. What happens every Wednesday? What happens every Wednesday? It's on the screen. The crude oil inventory report. It's like the crop report out of trading places. So let's sit on our hands. I don't want to take up too much time on ExxonMobil except to say it's a hold. I just wanted to let you know real quickly. Good job, guys. Yeah, a lot of makes me feel good. It's the Lord's work we're doing, Brother Gecko. Exactly, Rick. This is the Lord's work. And quick reminder for the new folks, on Mondays and Tuesdays, we're in what's called, the platform we're using is called Go to Webinar. Tomorrow and Thursday, we're actually in what's called Go to Training, and you guys can see each other's chat because we have under 200 members in those services. We're getting close, so we can see each other's chat, and you guys can shoot the shit and everything like that. But today, unfortunately, I got to read all these comments and everything like that. Tomorrow's VIX calls hold. David, I don't touch any of that stuff. Remember, whenever I get long volatility with just VIX calls, what do? It's the Ronco oven or the whatever, the Easy Bake Oven. Set it and forget it. Whenever I do VIX calls, where do they go? In the what? They go in the filing cabinet. At this point, with them expiring tomorrow, rolling them would be kind of for most likely a massive debit. Remember that whenever you're just doing long VIX calls, I'm going to set it and forget it. Okay, let's talk volatility, guys. Yesterday, so I'm going to say this, I'm going to say it 2 times. The second time I'll say slowly. Yesterday and today, we are seeing a phenomenon that you only see 20% of the time. Let's throw 80-20 up here. 80% of the time, folks, when the market goes down, the VIX goes up. And what's the VIX, in case you're new? The volatility index. This is the quote-unquote fear gauge, right? Oh my God, the market's going down. Well, the VIX will pop when the market goes down. 20% of the time, when the market goes up, I'm talking today and yesterday, the VIX also goes up. So here's the sentence I'm going to say twice and the second time slower. You ready? Market up, VIX up, something is up. More slowly. Market up, VIX up, something is up. What the hell does that mean if you're new to all this stuff? For 2 days in a row, right here, the market, yesterday we saw a rip your face off rally with the market. Trump reaches, who cares? John McCain, God bless him, blah, blah. He's an idiot. I hate him. I love him. Whatever. Trade deal with Mexico. Today, a little bit of a follow through. But on 2 days in a row, when the market is up, you're telling me people are hedging? Yes. Smart people like who? Me. Tim, my dog said it with me. That dog is smart. The smart people today and Tim's dog are doing what? Hedging. Ladies and gentlemen, when the market has a rip your face off rally and you don't necessarily believe it, or you're kind of smart and you believe like me that most likely this thing ain't going to go on for another, how many, when was it, like one of those weeks it was like, the market's been down 8 days in a row or up 8 days in a row, and what? Pop, drop, pop, drop, row sideways. So folks, I don't think, and I jokingly call it, and I'm dating myself, the Fred Sanford. Right? This even wasn't the Fred Sanford. I remember where I was trying to enjoy spring break with the kids skiing in Aspen. This was the Mark Zuckerberg, Cambridge Analytica. I laughed. I was on a ski lift, man. I almost fell off the ski lift. I predicted that. I didn't predict the date and the time, but I said, folks, the chickens are going to come home to roost. Facebook's a shit show. It's full of cockroaches. Get out of it. And then this was the whole, we're in a trade war with China. Even that, folks, we found a home at the 200-day moving average. So I'm not telling you that this is going to be some Fred Sanford grab your chest, stumble through the house looking for Lamont, you big dummy. I'm looking for, this is why I call it a Tredge. Was a couple months ago, we had an SPX bear put spread. Oh my God, did that guy just say the word debit spread? I think he's Mr. Credit Spread. You'd be right. But around one of these, I said, we had a lot on our radar that could have been bad. So that was no shit a hedge. That one went out as, quote, a loss. But I didn't look at it as a loss because all of our front month bullish trades and our January 20 bullish trades have printed money. So I'm not looking for a hedge right now, to be honest with you. I'm looking for a word I just introduced to you at the beginning of this webinar. If you're new, I'm looking for a damn Tredge, baby. I think Wiz is right. Between now and, like JP said, next Friday, something's going to happen. Hell, between me and getting finished at this webinar, something might happen to freak this market out. That's the hedge part. The trade part is I know something's going to happen to freak this market out between now and next Friday. Donald Trump tweeting something, the Bruce Orr testimony, oh my God, the FBI committed something. Iran, like Karen said earlier, Strait of Hormuz. Folks, something's going to be happening. Ray, it's everybody. Ray's saying it's got to be institutions, hedge funds, hedging. It's us, guys. I'm not going to call us a hedge fund or institution, but many of you have been in a live trade brief where we've moved markets in some of these positions. I'll never forget the day there was like zero open interest in volume in FXI spreads, and we put this thing over like 2,000 or something like that. Was us. I can't wait till John and Pete have to report on us someday. There's unusual options activity in so let's take a look, and when you become a member here, you're going to get access to a lot of great stuff. If I'm just kind of getting bullish on vol, I'll buy some VIX calls. If I'm kind of really bullish on vol, I'll do a VXX bull put spread. And if I'm really, really, really bullish on volatility, I do a top secret tactic that you're going to learn here at Top Gun Options called a bullish double vertical. So anyway, here we go. There you go, Brad. That's the FXI, XOM. Just let's just hang, man. And especially in FXI, I get that it had a sympathy pop yesterday because, hey, trade deal with Mexico. Do you think China can't even point Mexico out on a map? China could care less that Trump got a deal with Mexico. They care about who? China. So yeah, let's hang. But let's take a look at VXX. I'm not. If you're, I know a lot of you have been here for members in a while, and you're getting savvy, which is awesome. Your success is my success. You guys know I ain't a big super testimonial guys. You all volunteer these. Where's Shane? Are you in here? When was this? This was like last Tuesday. Just closed all my VIX and VXX positions for 23.5. And he said it was what? It was $5,000 per risk max trade for him. So your success is my success. But if you think, Wiz, we're hanging around this 20. It looks like 29 is its new resting heart rate. For a while there, it was what? For a while there on VXX, it was 30, right? Now it just kind of looks like this 29. If you believe between now and next Friday that something is going to happen to, you ready for it? 3 R's. Really, really, really cause volatility to pop, do a bullish double vertical. And that's not individual investment advice. I'm just talking about Bill, I'm not a UVXY guy, the leveraged ETFs with the daily rebalancing. It just doesn't. I'd rather do double verticals, okay? And if your head kind of turns sideways and what the hell's a double vertical, here's an hour-and-a-half lecture on it right here. Full throttle session number 6. Grab a glass of wine, sit down and watch this thing. You'll become a Jedi master. But it's a good question, Bill. That's just not me. If that's what you trade, knock yourself out. You can employ these same tactics, Bill, to the UVXY. I just don't. It's just, Bill, it's one of those, hey, man, I put my chart light in the cockpit on medium. You put yours on high. Guess what? We're both reading our chart and flying this aircraft the same way. Does that make sense? So, good question. All right, guys. So let's look at just let's go out to you know what, Kevin? That's a good idea. Let's do that for, well, even regular members can. Look at Kevin. Let me manage polls. I'm going to add a new one. Let's do this. Create new poll. Give me 1 minute. If you want to get long vol, what tactic? How about that? Long VIX calls. A. VXX bull put spread. B. or a VXX bullish double vert, or D, what the hell are you talking about? All right, here we go. Let me launch this one. So here we go. Let me pick a bowl. Here you go. Launch. Fire. All right, everybody. If so, vote in that. Let's see what your fellow members, are doing, since you can't see the chat box. And as you're voting, I mean, just on Comedy Central right now, CNBC, you can see the headline: "Stocks at new highs, are valuation stretched?" If you watch the sit rep today, you absolutely know. I feel that we're just a little over our ski tips, and that's we're definitely getting a little stretched here. All right, so everybody throw your, and if you don't know, so the 4%, what the hell are you talking about? Thank you for your honesty. So let's a couple more seconds here. Everybody throw their. Tim, you're having a lot of fun today. So am I. I am too. Yeah, we love this stuff, man. I'm very passionate about what we do here. Actually, I'm passionate about you guys, your success, like I said. So everybody take a look at the answers there. 15% going long, the VIX calls, 48% a bull put spread. I love the group doing the bullish double vert, man. But remember, folks, make sure you have the 3 R's. If you're doing remember I called it an afterburner trade, right? The double verticals are, hey man, I really, really, really believe. So if that's your strategic mindset, do it, man. I love it. But let's just for the since I don't have another 2 hours to sit here and teach what a bullish double vertical is, let's go out to next Friday, and let's look at that. Let's start with a 28.5. 27. I'm sorry, 28 bull put spread. Let me just play with some numbers here. And folks, when you become a member, there's a forum called the Ready Room. Maybe let's do, because I usually do 50 cent wide. Let's go 80. 50 cent versus $1 wide, because whiz, I'm getting hammered by commissions with my broker, blah, blah, blah. We did one of these 3 weeks ago, guys, and it made $5,100. Maybe rated 100 here. And I'll talk about this in a second. Let me just get close to, all right, that's close enough for government work. All right, everybody ready? Well, exactly, Kevin. You can start with the bull put spread of this, and then if, holy crap, it looks, you know what, I'm getting really nervous, or I hate using that word. I really, let me add 2 reallys to my strategic mindset. We could always add the debit spread. So you got it, Kevin. You could always leg into a bullish double vertical by doing the debit spread. And again, for those of you who answered what the hell's a double vertical, or how do you leg into something, let me paste this into the chat box again. It's when I go out to have dinner on Las Olas Avenue in Fort Worth, this literally is the price of a bottle of Pinot Grigio. Actually, that's a lie. It's probably double that. $38, 2-week test flight. Okay. $5,100 means nothing. What percentage? Bill, in that bullish double vertical, that was like an 82% return on risk. So it was a $5,100 gain and about $5,200 in risk. So we can look at, I can show you that trade towards the end here if you want. But we had a bullish double vertical on VXX. We had some VIX calls that exploded within 2 days. I think it was around the Turkey crisis, right, when the president did. So yeah, no, you're right. I as an options trader, I care about the percentage gain. So you're absolutely right. So. All right, but let's go. Let's brief this trade. It was a double vertical. It wasn't just a bull put spread, okay? Because this one we're risking $5,300 to potentially make 47. In the double vertical, Bill, the max profit was what, guys? 9,500 or something like that. I forget. I can pull it up. It's on the website right here, and we were risking about whatever it was. That was kind of what the trade was looking like. Risking about 5 to make 95. we had a pop up to like 5,200, and I said, that's it, I'm good. And we actually did what, folks? We got bearish on volatility and made another 2 or 3 grand. But again, yeah, you can look at the percentage returns. So, okay, so let's cover the trade here. All right, here we go. All right, so here's that. I'm going to grab a screenshot of this, but let's go through the trade. I'm looking to sell 100. Why 100? Give me 2 minutes of next Friday. I kind of already laid out why next Friday, of the 28.5 calls. Duh, it says right there, puts. Me selling these 28.5 puts is me saying, hey, VXX, I don't think you're going to be below 28.5 by next Friday. Okay, that is a world. Between now and Friday, folks, is a world of time. Between now and next Friday is a universe of time. But I'm saying something's going to happen in the next week and a half to cause the market to either pause or at least volatility to go up. All right, Wiz, you're not Nostradamus. You're wrong. Jesus, Ganesh, Buddha, and Muhammad came back to life over the weekend, and Monday the VIX is at 0. There is no volatility in the world. The second coming of Christ happened and VIX is at 0. Well, guess what? I will be absolutely thrilled that happened because I won't be worried about any money. But the point being is, folks, what we're going to do is buy some downside puts in case volatility does implode because everything is great. Right? This is another reason why I'm going out. Does anybody know what's happening Monday? Why would I go out to next Friday as well? It's a freaking 3-day weekend, folks. You know what usually happens on a 3-day weekend? First of all, towards the end of this week, institutions or financial or home offices or rich people don't like to be long going into a 3-day weekend. Lots of things can happen in a 3-day weekend, and usually none of them are bad. You got it. And next Friday is non-farm payroll, Brian. So this is, I'm bullish on at least VXX. I'm using puts and it's a spread. This is called a bull put spread. If you're new to options and you're kind of confused, wait, isn't this a credit spread? It is. It's also called a credit spread, and it's also called a vertical spread. I don't use those names too often. I like calling it what it is. I'm bullish. I'm using puts, and it's a spread. It's a bull put spread. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a screenshot of this trade. Why? Because you're going to get an email, if you remember, in about 30 minutes after we get done, with a screenshot, VXX, with the date 8/28, with a screenshot of the trade, right? Now, when I showed the trade initially, it was at 47 cents. I'm probably going to look to get filled 47 cents, plus or minus maybe about 3 cents, meaning I go down to 43 and maybe go up as high as 50. Anything outside of that, I'm not going to chase it because the risk to reward is either too high or too low. Longer discussion. Let's table it for now. Now, for the new members, check this out, or potential members. I'm going to count down 3, 2, 1, and your eyes are only going to go to one place, and it's max potential loss. 3, 2, 1, right here. What is my risk in this trade? Don't ever, I'm going to teach you to, like a bad Catholic nun, to crack your knuckles. If you ever click on whatever your brokerage screen is, this is why I love demonstrating on the Options House platform, because it's intuitive. This is where a Hornet pilot, an F-18 driver, or an options trader looks. What is my risk on this mission? How can I get smoked? If the worst case scenario happens, what is it? Worst case scenario happens is volatility implodes, Wiz, and I lose $5,300. But now I should see a lot of lights turning on, because what? Well, Wiz, if volatility implodes, that means what? Most likely, 80% of the time, the market is doing what? Which means our bull put spreads, our Jan 20, our bullish stuff is green as a mofo. Right? So this is a Tredge. It's a little bit of a hedge, and it's a trade, because I do think, folks, with how much certainty? Well, at least a 58 to 64% degree of certainty that this trade's going to either make max profit or at least break even. So now that we say, you know what, Wiz, I acknowledge this is the pilot in command in my portfolio. I acknowledge that my max risk is $5,300. If everything goes not to hell in a handbasket. No, if everything's good, and volatility, and volatility drops, the most I can lose is 5,300. Now we can bring our eyes up to Mr. Happy up here and go, wow, if something bad happens, or tweet or Trump or Gulf or elections or Turkey or something happens to cause this market to pause or volatility to go up, I could potentially make $4,700. Yep. Like I said, over the past couple weeks, man, with about, on average, $5,000 in risk per trade, we made about $20,000 in notional profits. Okay, based on $5,000 in risk, just like I showed you what's his name's testimonial there. He did, he did better than I did. He had 23.5. The math on mine were about 20. So, okay. So let me do this as well. Let me grab a screenshot of this so I can put it in the email. VXX 828 metric. And then we're going to do this. I'm going to grab up here at the top of the ticket. I'm going to copy this, and then I'm going to go to our broadcaster, and we're going to send out our text alert. So again, 80% of our members work. They ain't sitting here right now. They're, during the lunch break, kids go to bed, whenever it is, they watch over Sunday. They catch up on their recordings, right? So the portfolio is the primary live trade brief. New bull put spread on what? VXX, new VXX bull put spread. Whoa. Okay. 100 contracts. We talked about why. It's the September 7th. We talked about why. September 07 expiry. I'm looking to sell the 28.5 puts. I'm looking to buy the 27.5 puts. Why am I doing $1 versus 50 cent wide? Take a look at the academic training. That's a nice subtle plug. 47, or the ready room, actually. Can't see or spell today. I said I'd go about 3 cents wide. I got to be honest with you. I don't usually adjust these trades at all, and definitely don't eject from them. Why? Let me finish this and we'll talk about it. If you might, potentially adjust this trade if it's going against you at about 74 cents and maybe eject around 94. If you don't know what that means, that's because you haven't gone through our supersonic training, and that's why you need to become a member. Kevin got a partial fill at 46 cents. Okay. Let me get this out to PLTB, new VXX, bull put spread. My phone just buzzed, which means I got a text. And folks, Graham's down there in Australia. I got buddies in Afghanistan. These text alerts go within 2 seconds, literally around the world. Top Gun Options currently has 33 member countries. Isn't that awesome? That brings a tear to my eye. I mean, I remember when I started this thing 8 years ago. It was me. Now we're in 37 countries around the globe. Okay, let me get back to this. Real quick, trade management. First of all, I don't want to lose 20 or 50, $300, even if it is a Tredge. But let's talk about a potential gain. Here's what's great about this trade. This trade makes money 75% of the time, meaning 3 out of 4 ways. You see this blue line right here? That currently is the price of VXX, sitting here as I talk. VXX can do what? Well, shit whiz, it could pop. It pops, we make money. What if it sits here, man? It looks like volatility's kind of hanging around that 29. We make money. Okay, great. I get it. It goes up. It stays sideways. We make money. Folks, you see this? It can even go down. See this little yellow area? That's what? As long as it stays above, we haven't seen 28. 28's down there, guys. As long as it stays above our break even, we make some money. So VXX can go up. It can trade sideways. It can go down. So 3 out of 4 ways this trade makes money. How does this trade lose money? Jesus comes back to life, and I don't need a speech on how he already is back to life. What was that, 2 full throttles ago? I'm facetious in a lot of things I say, guys, but I remember saying something like that, like well, Jesus comes back to life and volatility goes back to zero. And some lady yelled at me for an hour in the chat box about how Jesus is currently alive. I get it. Please, I come from the ready room of a fighter squadron, folks. I think I'd be hit by lightning if I if I walked into a church. You know what I'm getting at. So that's where the max loss happens, and I said it 9 times already. I'll say it again in this lecture. If that max loss happens, that means something good is going on in the market, and that's pretty good. So. Harry's ZZ Top is nationwide, Wiz is worldwide. Tim, oh, I didn't know that. He is, Tim. He's alive and well. This lady, I actually ended up booting her from the webinar because I just couldn't take it in the chat box anymore. How dare you? Jesus is alive. And she's like, how do you say it? Proselytizing? Yeah, I'm not even going to try that word. So, there you go. Exactly, Craig. It's the market, not theology. Thank you, my friend. Okay. There? That was a brief history of the world, with volatility. So ExxonMobil, I said, give me a day, and then FXI. I truly believe this is not a good trajectory, man. Let me get rid of this. Based on look at that. It's almost, you can connect the dots. Look, that's a downward slope of what? 12%. So last week's rally on, hey, I think we're going to meet and at least say hi to each other. Well, we didn't get shit done. Deal with Mexico. Folks, we didn't even get a trade deal done with China. All the liberals in Congress are already saying, how dare the president negotiate without us? This is the same liberals and Democrats who, remember when Barack Hussein Obama famously said elections have consequences? And then when the Republicans were kind of being the opposition party, he famously held up a pen. He goes, I have a pen and a phone. I don't need the House and the Senate, said our king. The president cannot do this deal with Mexico without going through the House and Senate. That's this dude, and I agree with that. If he tries to go around them, I think it's awful. Raytheon, Harry, I'm 31 cents is what I'm going to look at when I get off the webinar to exit, whatever it is now. Where we were. Ralph, what leap trades are you in? Ralph, good question. When you join, Ralph, you're going to get access to, you ready for this? It's a hidden slide right there, man. Our Jan 20 sectors that we're targeting. If you got really good vision, you could look at it real quick. But no, that's why you're going to join. And if you're a member, you can go look at the previous recordings and take a look at that. But where's the guy who was asking for the that other VXX trade, the $5,000 one? We can go review that if you want. Well, you know what, Brian? Thank you for saying that. Does everybody remember when Bill Clinton negotiated NAFTA? He was playing I Got a Secret too, to be honest with you. And I didn't see the President Bill Clinton with the President of Mexico on the phone or Canada Prime Minister. I think it was the current dude's dad, wasn't it? Wasn't his dad the Prime Minister around that time? Trudeau? Yeah, something like that. You bet, Paul. Yeah, and whoever just asked, yes, this is recorded. So if you join late, guys, everything's recorded. So as soon as I get done this, I actually get up and stretch my legs. I go for a walk around the neighborhood to get my eyes, or actually I try and fire my stuff. Then I get up, I walk around because it takes about 20 to 30 minutes for this recording to render. But I write the email, and this is what it looks like, man. It'll come out with the trades, the screenshots. So this is the process. You got the text alert, if you're a member, on your phone. In about 30 minutes, you're going to get an email like this with the screenshot of the trade. And then down here at the bottom is going to be the recording. It takes about 30 minutes to render it and post it to YouTube. And then we're good. Harry, the Jan 21s are coming up shortly, and you go to the SIBO calendar. This is my favorite time of the year, folks. SIBO calendar. I love the fall because this means we're getting close to doing what? Closing our current Jan whatchamacallits 18s and opening what? The Jan 21s. Okay, so here's the SIBO calendar. I'll put this in the chat box. Or the 19th, sorry, man. Rick, thank you. So Trudeau. I thought it was Trudeau, Kevin. Where did I? Yeah, it was Trudeau. Yeah. Who was I thinking? It was the guy, not Mulder, part of his hair on the side. Anyway, so folks who are here and aren't members, this is where you take the test flight. It's $38 and you get access into all 4 live trade briefs we do throughout the week. If this is your last $38, please don't do the trial if that seems like a lot of money to you. I don't know if you should be trading options. That's between you and your registered investment advisor or broker dealer. But take your 2-week test flight here, and then at the end of 2 weeks, if you like it, I think it's $195 to $295 a month, or you can give us a call and upgrade into an annual membership, which I just showed you today with 2 Raytheon trades that we closed. We closed Raytheon for $45.70. And to answer that gentleman's question earlier, that was what? That was based on 10 grand in risk. Whoa, 10K in total risk. Can anybody do the math on that? What the return on risk was? That's pretty damn freaking good. And that's just one trade. Thanks, Fish. I appreciate it. You bet. You bet, Harry. So, all right. So, guys, we're good. We covered all of our bases. We did a good strategic brief. I'm not going to apologize about my political rant because even if this was the other way around, could you imagine if George Bush had done this to Barack Obama? Christ almighty, they'd be marching with pitchforks and torches on the White House. So, FI's a fast one. Oh, I already briefed you on this. Guys, this is ugly. This is how we're not a democracy, we're a republic. This is how they die. Key Manafort banker robbed of briefcase and iPad. What is going on in this country, man? We have tech companies banning speech. I'm a private company, Wiz. I can do whatever I want. Actually, you're not private. You're a public company. So the same people who say Google can do whatever they want as a business are the same people that demand that a baker in Colorado make a cake that he doesn't like. We live in dangerous times, ladies and gentlemen. I will tell you, I have my own well-regulated militia, and if this shit gets any worse, it is not going to be good. You cannot impeach a man because you don't like him. Consumer confidence, look, it's on the Tredge report. I didn't even see that. So folks, love or hate the man, the fact that at the highest echelons of our quote unquote Department of Justice, the Department of Justice and the FBI were the last bastions of what? Good, right? I mean, the Department of Defense, Congress has a 10% approval rating. Used car dealers have a 15%, and the Department of Defense is at 75%. These guys used to be up there as well. And you know what they are now? They're around Congress, our FBI. And I'm not talking rank and file. I have buddies in just about every one of these, man. They're furious at that piece of shit, Comey. And this guy, he committed treason. I'm stunned. I can't. This makes me horrific. And the fact that our quote unquote attorney general sits there on his hand, recused himself from all this stuff and just watches. If you have any sense of impartiality, folks, you should go at least, as they're ripping apart Trump, why aren't we looking into the potential malfeasance of another campaign? If you say no, for Christ almighty, guys, there was a revolving door between the Clinton Foundation and the State Department. If you are that daft, do me a favor and don't sign up here at TGO. We have a really good squadron, and it just ain't going to work. Even the liberal folks that we have here go, you know what, man, 90% of your stuff I don't agree with, but deep down I agree with. And we talk about some of the shit in the ready room. We have some good stuff going on here. So it sucks. So. Right. That Strozik dude, the way he just smiled and smirked in the hearings and stuff like that, it's awful. So. He does that, Steve. I want to be a dentist from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I actually think he looks like the grandma on the Beverly Hillbillies. You guys see that? Everybody remember that show? All right, now I'm just Sessions / Beverly Hillbillies. Everybody remember? I grew up watching. I think he looks like this lady. Remember? What a great show. All right, guys, that is just good stuff, man. I love that show. So, Guy, I appreciate it. All right, guys, I'm gonna I'm gonna go. Make sure you sign up for your 2-week trial, and you can get access to this nonstop hit parade of humor that I have streaming here. Tomorrow we're going to be in accelerated retirement. We have to talk about some longer term positions. We're definitely going to talk about CSX. CSX is the gift that keeps on giving. Man, it is the quiet sleeper trade. It is just ever since earnings, man, that thing is just forget about it. Forget about it. So we're gonna have a great time tomorrow. Okay. So make sure you take your 2-week trial. I can't drag you any more to water. That there wasn't 52 marketing PowerPoint slides. All we did was open up our squadron and say, hey, you know what? Come check out us live with a regular live trade brief. That's the best way you see how things get done here. So you bet, Harry. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge. God bless, and I'll see many of you tomorrow for accelerated retirement. We'll see you.